while.
Yeah, it's
Yay!
raining cats and dogs.
It is. It's amazing how you can go from like the warmest, hottest, craziest summer directly to October.
Exactly, which is
Like,
what is happening right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
I'm always a huge advocate for not as hot summers. I'm like, oh, why does it have to, like be so scorching and just crazy? But I didn't ask for this either. It
yeah,
would be
that's
nice to
too
have
soon.
some kind of balance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but I think we're live and we
Yeah.
have people tuning in. So let's
Yes.
begin
Great.
little by little. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this rainy, nasty, lovely August morning at 9 a.m. So, we are here broadcasting from the shortcut, and the shortcut is a place for integration, professional and social integration, and finding a meaningful career or starting your own business. We provide events and training to help you with that, and we strive to be the go to place in Finland for that. And our guest today is Pipsa Aro, who is now taking a selfie. And
Yes.
she is here to talk with us about CV. So Pipsa has, I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but today she's here as CMO of the House of Ikigai, and as herself, she's quite a public figure on LinkedIn. Yes, thank you, Pipsa, for being here. And the usual question: How is tell us more about your career and introduce yourself properly.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. This is my now first session of this. Well, it's not yet officially fall, but the fall semester, let's say. So I'm Pipsa Aro, and I'm quite many things. My role here today is the founder and CMO, all-round person of my own company, House of Ikigai. I hope if you still haven't heard about the Japanese concept of Ikigai, please Google it. Ikigai, it is something that I have found myself in mentoring. I started mentoring highly educated young people to find their first permanent job back in 2016, and kind of got bitten by like a mentoring fly. Do flies bite? I don't know, but that's what we say in Finnish. So I got super into mentoring, helping people. I was working then as a marketing manager of a Finnish software company, and I've been continuing on that mentoring road since then. I have been working also at Google for a couple of years, for a IT recruitment company for 2 years, all the while doing my own thing for my company and volunteer work as well. And I'm also part of a couple of boards in this trade union for Tradenomi, so Bachelor of Business Administration people. Also other like IT people, whatnot. So I'm in the council and board there, and then in another startup company's board as well. So I'm a kind of person who has her hands in all kinds of
In
situations.
many pots.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you. And it's a lot of fun. And funny thing is that at the moment myself, I am also a job seeker. So I know what it is like to look for a job today in today's market, because job search and CVs, the style, the recruiters needs to change over time. job search is not the same thing today what it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 5 years ago. So I know what it is.
Yes, awesome to have you here. Great introduction. And I think those who follow Pipsa's journey on LinkedIn know that she recently made a great post about CVs. It was in Finnish, so we asked Pipsa to translate this for us. So my next question is going to be, like, you talk a lot about this. This seems to be like very simple question, but it's the first one, so let it be a simple one. How many pages you think should be on a CV? Is that important, and why?
This is one of my passion subjects. So some years ago, one CV started to spread around the internet, and it was this Yahoo's CEO Marissa Mayer's CV, which was one page. It's not A4, it's actually longer than A4, but it's one page. And because it looked cool and nice and fun, people started thinking, oh, I should also put all of my work experience, all of my skills and strengths and personality as well to one tiny page. For me, I say no, not with the one page CVs. I have seen during my mentoring years and working in a recruitment company as well, me having hired assistants or trainees for myself, I have seen CVs. 2-page CVs are always better than 1-page CVs. Okay, disclaimer. If the 2 pages are filled with just one-word lists, work history from 30 years ago, kind like old irrelevant stuff, of course it's not great by default. But when I have seen my mentees come to me with their 1-page CV, and I have gotten to learn more about those people, and I know that they have so much more to give, so much more skills and strengths than what they have on that 1 page. I teach them, I give them the advice, and then when they make a 2-page CV, every single time I see the 2-page CV, I get chills. I'm like, this is you, not the 1-page one. I can't see you, I can't feel you, I can't understand what your skills are or your motivation. But from the 2-page, it's there. It's much more visible there. So, but also it shouldn't be 14 pages. I have seen a CV with 14 pages. It's too long. 3 pages is still readable if you're a super accomplished IT expert or architect or chief executive officer. Of course, it can be 4 pages, but most professionals, 2 pages maximum. Minimum and maximum.
All right. Do you want to share quickly those CVs that you were sharing?
So I will now show an example of 3 kinds of CVs. The first one is a very, very, very common one that is still taught in schools, in organizations for unemployed people, wherever, internet, it's the most usual CV template, but it's 1 page and it lacks a lot of information. The second, I will show them in a minute. I just want to give some information before. So the second version is a colorful one, like more visually appealing, not black and white. It's also a super common one amongst millennials. It's made with Canva, and it's nice looking, but it's also 1 page. So I have made these CVs, I will show them in a second, but I have tried to put my skills and my work experience and the relevant information into this 1 page, and you will soon see that it is not enough. The third version I have is my actual CV at the moment that I have been sending to organizations and gotten interviews with. So that's a 2-page one. It has a lot of information. It's still readable. It's not too messy. It's not too filled with information. It looks like me. It shows some personality and motivation. The first 2 versions don't show motivation. Okay, I will click the share button, and Katja, if you can then add this to the broadcast. Just a second. Okay.
Here we go.
You can see. Okay, great. So here you can see the first version. So this is the one that I don't know most, but a huge majority of people have, or a huge crowd of people still have today. So I have dumbed down my CV to this one page, black and white. Doesn't show anything about my personality or my motivation. The first thing is that I have used like 1/3 of a page to just describe my contact information, almost all of this irrelevant information that the person who gets my CV doesn't need at this point. And one super important thing is that you should never include your family ties here. Are you single, married, do you have children? That is illegal for you can share it, but it puts you in a place where you can be discriminated upon. So it is illegal for recruiters, companies to ask this information. So you don't have to give it to them either. My work experience, this is truly what I have been doing for the past 10 years, but I have only shared like 1-word lists. Super boring. It doesn't tell anything. The word marketing doesn't tell anything to the person who receives my CV that what I actually have done and accomplished, learned. So 1 word does not even begin to tell what I actually know. I have done, and it all goes to all of these work experiences. And also I have included here jobs from 10 years ago. They're not relevant anymore. I'm looking for marketing jobs, marketing leadership jobs. So me being a logistics trainee back in 2011, no longer relevant. So in my actual CV, I don't anymore have this work experience at all. Education, I don't tell anything. Basically, my IT skills, just again 1-word lists, doesn't tell anything about my actual skills. Language skills, only languages like this. I haven't rated them in any way because I don't know Russian as well as Finnish. Russian, I can only buy a pack of cigarettes, basically. So a CV is a place that you tell about your skills. Russian is not really my skill because I only know this much about it. Projects, only 1 organization. It's not enough. I haven't told what I do in this organization or that I'm volunteering in it. And spare time, again, 1-worded list. There's no references here. There's no motivation here. There's no customization here. It is just 1 generic page that is sent to all of the places, and it has nothing there for the person to actually grasp from it, learn something from you, and then invite you to the interview. And then the second version, I'm not going to go so much into depth with this one, but this is already so much nicer looking. Sure, it looks nice, but it's still super short and shallow. So there's already a little bit more than 1-worded lists here in my work experience, my employment history, but it's still very, very, very shallow. The person needs more information. Same here, just some bullet points. It's not enough. Professional profile, this is already better than the previous CV, but this means that this is a generic profile. I haven't customized it and tailored it towards a specific organization and the role that I'm looking for there. The person who receives my CV wants to see that I have written this for them exactly. And here they can see that it's a very general CV. Also, no references here. I chose a bad picture, by or on purpose, with the sunglasses. Always make sure that you're fully visible. You don't have to add a picture, but it can make you stand out. But I know for sure the sad truth is that also, a picture can set you up for unequal situation. So I'm happy that there is this anonymous recruiting, that you don't share your name, they don't know your gender, they don't know how you look like. That's a good thing. And then the last version. So this is my actual CV at the moment. And I shared this last week. I have already made some changes to it because you should constantly improve your CV. But yeah, this was my actual CV last week. So a nice picture, and this is the personalized intro section. Usually when I send this to a company, I mention the company name. I mention the role name specifically. I have chosen these words here, my superpowers and all of these, especially to the role in question. So I have read the job description, or I have heard about this job from a person in my network. I know what they're looking for, so I find those strengths from myself that are the most relevant and most important to this exact role. So this intro section you should basically write from scratch every single time, because it also shows you the motivation, or the company that you're motivated. First, you have seen the trouble of writing it from scratch. And of course, you should, in this particular example, I don't have it, but you can write what motivates me in this role is. And then you write down A, B, C, whatever those things are. It shows the person reading your CV that you are actually really, truly motivated as well. There's enough contact information, not too much. And then I have, with full sentences, with numbers, achievements, but still in a very organized manner, I have told about my experience, my skills, my strengths, everything, and with my personality shining through. And when you write it like this, also your motivation shines through, because you can see the difference between the first one. It's completely flat, there's nothing. But here, with even some color choices, the full sentences, the introduction, the photo, it all, makes your motivation and personality ooze between the lines as well. And then I have only chosen these selected jobs. I haven't listed all of my jobs here, just the 3 previous ones. And I have chosen clearly what I want to tell about these jobs to this job in question. There's a little bit more information about my education, a full list of my IT skills, also a line, you name it, I learn it. Again, shows your attitude. Social media, I have listed different platforms. References, I tell that they are available upon request. Projects and volunteering, I have told more in depth what kind of projects, what do I do in these organizations. language skills, only the two ones that I really know how to speak, and then fun facts, something that is not job related. Okay, sure, the first one tells that I'm a part-time entrepreneur, but you can tell that you play Stardew Valley, you love cats, you watch the X-Files, you watch movies, and you love to eat. That's true. That's truly Pipsa. That the person who you will get when you hire me. I will be this person here. So this is what companies want to see. You don't have to go as into detail as I have gone. You still need to do this your own consideration of what you want to tell. I'm a super open person and a bubbly one and an extrovert. All of you don't have to have pink CVs. No, you choose a color that is you. Is it blue? Is it red? Is it green? Whatever is you. Don't copy my CVs to try to be me. Be you. Take yourself into that CV and all of these different points of view, not just your titles. It doesn't tell anything. What was the point still that I wanted to? Oh, maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, this was the 3 CVs. So same person, 3 different kinds of CVs. A huge difference. Don't you agree?
It is, yes, and I have to say that I'm just moving on from the Canva CV, like in my mindset of what the CV should be. So this third version, when I saw it on your LinkedIn, I was like, yes, this is something that I haven't seen before, like at least properly, because I'm not in recruitment. Yeah. So this was, I think, really like. You showed it, and I think it's much better than talking. But still, I have some questions to you to discuss. So one of them is about skill-based CVs. This is something that I heard about maybe a year ago, and I know is now kind of a trend, and many people try to like. As opposed to traditional CV, when you have first your education, then your experience, and then something else, they put their skills on the top and like, or somehow highlight them. That it draws the most attention. What is your opinion on those?
Yeah. So the skill-based CV is, for example, for me, rather than I would list work experience, I would start with, for example, B2B marketing. And then I would list my skills and strengths and my accomplishments, achievements there under that B2B marketing headline. And then I could put, for example, social media below that. Again, list my skills below that. The thing is, I'm not the biggest fan of this skill-based CV because, sure, it is somewhat of a trend. But actually, me having mentored dozens and hundreds of people and having seen CVs when I have recruited assistants or trainees myself, I have never seen a skill-based CV myself, ever. Of course, I have seen like an example from some other career coach. I know what skill-based CVs are. But the danger in skill-based CVs is that recruiters or hiring managers, if they get those 300 CVs and they have this one way of CV in their brain, they have learned to scout. Sometimes people only have that 7 seconds time to go through a CV. Sometimes they have 7 minutes and they can really properly read the whole thing. But you have to optimize towards the worst case scenario. So if a person only has 7 seconds, I'm afraid, I don't know for sure, because there's a million recruiters, so a million different ways of reading CVs. So, but I'm afraid that if a person gets a super different kind of CV in front of them, that 7 seconds will kind of be like, oh, wait a minute, where's the latest work experience? Wait, okay, I don't understand. Oh, what is this next? So that's what I'm afraid of. So most recruiters still what they look for is the latest work experience and so on. But there's always a but. If you're changing careers, if you have already been in one profession for 10 years and now you have studied a new one and then you have some internship from the new career, then it could make sense that you try this kind of skill-based CV instead of the usual chronological work experience CV. But what I thought about this morning preparing for this live was that what I would mostly recommend people to do is always in some form, way, or is to do a skills driven CV. So whatever the CV is like, what does it look like, in what order, it should always show your skills first. So not the visual appearance, not the titles, but your skills, whatever it is, just make sure that your skills shine through. Does it make sense?
It most certainly does, yes. And we had actually this topic about career changing a lot at the shortcut, as many people are looking for, as we say, meaningful career. So it's not necessarily what you learned or what you did before, but what makes sense to you. So in that sense, it's definitely up our street.
And I want to say one thing about skills again is that there's not only professional core skills. There's also for career changing people, or going from one industry to another, there are transferable skills that you should highlight then, because you don't yet have the core skills that is needed in the new career, but you always have transferable skills and personality based skills and your attitude. So you kind of have 4 different kinds of skills. Don't just focus on the one, which is the hard B2B marketing, strategy, sales, whatever. No, go with a broader spectrum of skills.
Excellent. Yes, and
they all matter.
Yeah, I think world needs more of this kind of CV also,
Yes.
because also I imagine, like from the point of view of the recruiter, you are going through all of these like faceless CVs, and how to stop on one, how to even okay, so as you noticed, the name of the session today is Optimize Your CV with Skills and Motivation. So we talked a little bit about skills, and you mentioned a little bit also about the motivation already when you were showcasing, but I would like to expand on that, because I think very often question that people get is about motivation letters, like, do recruiters read them? Do we actually need to write them? Some recruiters are complaining that people are not writing them. So, and then some job seekers are complaining that employers are not reading them. So just in case that it's only your CV who gets the spotlight, at least for the first round, how to showcase the motivation already there?
Yes, this is a super duper important question, because it is the reality. Not all recruiters or hiring managers do actually read your cover letter, your motivation letter. They only might have time to read your CV. So to optimize your job search, to optimize your CV, the best way to show your motivation is that intro section. In the very, very beginning of your CV, that you tailor and customize it every single time to the job you're sending it to. It is hard. It's tiring. I know. I'm looking for a job at the moment. I want to take shortcuts. I'm like, oh, the job search is hard. It's difficult. but I know for a fact that you will get the invite to an interview much more likely if you show the motivation, if you see the effort and write the introduction part from scratch every time. So the easiest way is to do it in the introduction section that I showed before. Before job experience, before education, tell that you are the right person to this job because A, B, C. A, B, C meaning those things that they are looking for in the job ad. It shows that you have read and understood the job ad. It already shows motivation. You can add a sentence that what motivates me in this work is A, B, C. I am a huge fan of Organization X. I love how you lead your people. I love your product. It shows motivation. I have always wanted to work with you. I hear great things from your team. I want to be a part of that. These are all ways to show your motivation. Yes, so this introduction section is the best thing. You should also repeat these things in the cover letter, the motivation letter, but this is the very, very, very short version. You only include in your CV as well. And then with these small things, as I showed you between the lines as well in your CV, you know, you're not telling irrelevant, old, trivial stuff about your work experience, but you have hyper focused it towards this job. Maybe at one place you tell that, you know, whatever I learn from this job, I'll be happy. You know, you show that you're happy to and eager to learn their ways of working. You know, if it's new systems and software that they have in use, you know, you can always tell them where you list your IT skills. I'm happy to learn your systems. Again, it shows motivation. So small and bigger things.
Yes, and I also love how you put it, like what motivates me in this role is, as opposed to the smug and pretentious, I would be ideal for this job because this and this, which people do sometimes. And I think it's bold, but then it depends on the personality of the recruiter. Some people can think it's cool and some people can be set off by it. I think especially in Finland, where the working culture includes modesty, I think so this is like a more safe way to go.
Yeah.
And also, I really loved how you said about being ready to learn new things, because I think recently also on LinkedIn I saw someone posted like one of our applicants listed Googling things on his CV. Guess what? We're interviewing him. Because it's true.
That is genius, actually.
Yeah.
I'm copying that. I'm seriously gonna add that to my CV today. Thank you. That is genius.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it, and I also thought like properly Googling things, because there are so many new things every day, like new programs, new things, new abbreviations, even like sometimes you read the job descriptions and you're like, what's this? What's that? And that just appeared like a year ago. So like Google things for
that
real.
Is like that is genius. And this is how you evolve all the time. This is why everyone should not do their job search alone. Spar and talk with anyone, you know, who has ideas, and because we're not supposed to be in this alone. You know, many job seekers are, and that is the reality. But maybe it shouldn't be, you know. That's also why I do what I do, is because I wanna be the support to someone, because not everyone has to do things the hard way. Hey, there's some interesting comment. can you click on the comment that Nagi just put so we can get it on the screen?
I wanted to take the questions at the end, but let's.
Yeah.
There are some good ones.
Yeah.
So the latest one is it?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You make it sound like recruiters and employers are the victims who are burdened by having to spend time on countless faceless CVs, i.e., simply doing their job. But job seekers have to tailor their CV, motivation letter to individual job postings, knowing fully well that their application may not get 7 seconds of attention. Shouldn't the recruiting practices be amended? And the very short answer to this question is yes, they should. But the reality of this is that, for example, let's say marketing coordinator, HR coordinator, or almost any kind of coordinator or assistant level jobs can get hundreds and hundreds, even thousands, because of COVID epidemic and it's just a reality. It was the reality already back in 2014 when I was looking for a job for 11 months. I was then at the assistant coordinator level. I had no chance, unless I had great luck, and that was also the time when I wasn't educating myself enough. I was doing job search by myself. So what I always want to teach job seekers, what I do myself as a job seeker, is that I want to optimize it to the worst case scenario. It's not always 7 seconds that you get. Sometimes it's 7 minutes. Sometimes it's 17 minutes. And then you're fine. But if it's the 7-second thing, then you have to, then you have to adjust. I hope, and I'm one of my biggest missions is to change this. That's why I speak about these things at the same time as I'm educating job seekers. I'm educating employers and recruiters. Really great question. Thank you.
Systematic change. Yes. Yes, and while we're at it, as we started to take questions, I want to take one previous also because it's related to job search specifically in Finland.
Yeah. So Nural says, when I first moved to Finland, the first version was what both TE, so the unemployment offices in Finland, and my language course told me to do, as opposed to my more tailored CV. So they wanted you to do the black and white basic template CV. Not all coaches or unemployment officers give great advice. So this is difficult. As I said before, you need to use your own consideration as well. You're bombarded with advice. All of them say that, take my advice, take my advice. But I would say that advice that you have been given is sadly a bad piece of advice, because I don't know why they have said it. I have no idea. Maybe they haven't been in job search in the job market in 20 years, because many of these career coaches or people, they have been doing career coaching since the 90s, and it's 30 years ago. Job search has changed tremendously. So the 2020s style is the more personalized. Every single time you put more time and effort into your CVs, bring out your motivations, you tailor it, you will increase your chances of getting invited to the job interview. It's just what it is. But at the same time, I have to say, I do the tailoring. I see a lot of effort. I don't get invites to every single organization, because it is the reality of job search. It sucks, of course, because I put so much effort into it, but it's not personal. They're not looking for a person with my skill set and my personality and my job experience. because it's not what's missing in their current team. They're missing something else. So, sure, I get generic no thank you, not this time, we have chosen the interviewees, you weren't among them. So I go to the next one.
Yes, great question. And also, like on a small note, I think that the organization that didn't choose you, also, if they got this kind of like real look into your CV and your skills and your personality and didn't choose you, you're not a good fit for them, and neither they are for you. So
Exactly.
that's okay.
It goes both ways.
Exactly.
Completely.
Yeah, some very good questions, and yes, please send more if you have them, because we are approaching the end of the session soon. I'm going to ask Pipsa some more quick questions of my own, like rule of thumb questions, basically. So, what are like the big no-nos? Like, what's like definitely not to do on your CV? Shortly.
Well, that is a really, really good question. What not to do in your CV? Well, to make it overly long or overly short. I have seen a half a page CV. Again, a really smart and skillful person, but she had gotten bad advice from her University of Applied Sciences, so like a college. Her student counselor there had said, half a page of a CV. No, such a missed opportunity. So always try to make a favor to the person who will get your CV. So keep it relevant, keep it looking like you, and tailor it. Another good question from Nagi.
Yes, coming up.
How does one remain motivated in the face of repeated rejection? My simplest answer to this is don't do it by yourself. Don't be alone. Every single job seeker goes through these feelings. I have been unemployed before when I have been looking for entry-level jobs. I've gotten repeated rejections. I'm now in a marketing director level, CMO level. Just this week, I have gotten 2 generic no thank yous. It happens to every single person here, every single one. And 3, another advice is have a pipeline of applications going all the time. So there are processes progressing at different stages. But there is also one warning here. I had one mentee, 2016, who I had given this advice, which resulted in the worst possible result, was that on a Friday, he got 9 generic no thank you emails. It was the most horrifying thing. Sometimes that can also happen, but what he had done right was that he had a mentor. He wasn't alone, so he had me. So again, going back to the first point, don't do your job search alone. So then you can get some support and love, because it happens. There's no way of going around it. It happens.
Yes, very good and actually relevant question. And I think like some people prefer not to share their details of their job search, like for example on LinkedIn, while others do, and that's of course up to your personality and situation. Yes. But I think if this is okay for you, this is also one way of not being alone. Yes. Like your whole community, like your followers are cheering for you. Yes. And looking how it's going. So that's another way, A, to be visible that you're active, and B, to not to be alone in this. So but that's of course
either friends, family, school, or the shortcut organization people, or then social media. People will not judge you for looking for a job. On the contrary, they will support you and cheer you on 1000%.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for the plug. Yes, we actually we have opened the open lab. Like due to COVID, we don't have open lab days anymore, but we have opened online consultations with our staff just 2 days ago, and you can book a meeting with any of our staff. You can check it at our website, theshortcut.org, and you can book a meeting, and that's another way of talking about what you're going through.
That's
I'm
amazing.
getting a lot of good questions, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna show them.
I find many roles on the market which looks very interesting and fit to my profile. Unfortunately, most of the time they require to be fluent in Finnish. Should I still apply where even I don't speak any Finnish, but I'm motivated to learn or currently learning on the beginning level? Yeah, so the most important thing is that you have or you are about to start the learning process. You know, we all have to start from somewhere. So the further you are with your learning, it's better, but also the sad and ugly truth is another thing that we're trying to change in the Finnish job market is that this requirement is dropped because there's not as many excuses to have this requirement as organizations think that there are. We could be much more international in Finland. So there's no quick way to go about it. Just, you know, keep on learning and keep on studying. Try to immerse yourself in the Finnish language. It will better your situation. But yeah, always you can knock on doors. Always you can send CVs, because every single time you send a CV and a job application, even though you don't get invitation back, you don't get the job, as I do, you will learn so much from each sent CV, because as I showed you earlier, the CV I showed you was from last week. I have already made it into a better version again. So keep on trying. Although there is a good intention in recruiting anonymously, we must present our experience and the names of the companies we have worked or university we have studied. These still represent an obstacle because there is still some fear regarding foreign experience and academic preparation in the HR culture. How to overcome it in your CV? Another great question, and another issue in the Finnish job market. It's a slow change. You know, there's nothing you should do differently. You should be proud of your education and your work experience, and you should showcase them. But I had this, hey, actually go to my LinkedIn page, Pipsa Aro. I'm the only Pipsa Aro that there is in this universe, thank God. And try to find this LinkedIn live. Actually, I have pinned it on the top of my profile with Lukumanu Idrisu. We talked about international talent. It's a live in English. So we talked about these issues. So go and watch that, because I could talk about this for another hour. So, and we're almost out of time. So my profile, LinkedIn profile, pinned section, you should find it somewhere there. Lukumanu Idrisu, go watch that. How would you list language capabilities? More specifically, if an employer is looking for someone who speaks fluent Finnish and your level is professional, conversational, and you tick all the boxes otherwise for the job, should one apply for the job, or is it a waste of time? Well, if you're at professional conversational level, I would absolutely apply. Not a waste of time at all. So I'm encouraging you to trust yourself there and just send the CV. Good question. Yeah.
This is from Charlotta, who recently joined Shortcut, my colleague watching me now. I'm so glad. Yeah. So Charlotta asks, in my case, I have several short-term contracts on my resume, 2 to 6 months, as a result of having lived abroad and having had trouble finding a permanent position, first in Canada, and then again when I came back to Finland. So Charlotta is Finnish. She came back and has found a job with us. So she is sharing. Most of the contracts were extended from their original term, and the patchiness is due to circumstances, not my skills, but it can look suspicious to recruiters. How would you work around this?
Good question. Two things. First, there's this one organization in Finland that has been doing this recruitment survey to HR professionals, recruiters, hiring managers, and they have asked year to year, what are the most important factors when making a recruitment decision? And there is work history, references, gender, motivation, personality, gaps in CV, whatever. And year after year after year after year, motivation towards the job is number one. And gaps in CV is, I don't remember exactly, but it's much lower, maybe in the middle somewhere. So you can always compensate with motivation. If you show the motivation and your attitude, your skills, you will always compensate for some gaps. But also, I showed you my CV. You can see it also from my LinkedIn profile. They are shared openly there, the 3 different versions. So what you can also say, before you start listing your work experience, you can add a paragraph of text explaining this, your situation. This exact, it's not my skills, it's the circumstances. They loved my work and so on, but it was due to this and this. And then not going into more like excuses, so it sounds like you're making up excuses, but you can just bluntly say, this was the circumstances, and then you go into listing. CV is really a place where you can also tell a little bit about the background. Make it short, make it concise, but there's not a CV police coming after you if you don't just list your work experience. You can add this small kind of paragraph before you list them.
Yeah, so this can go, I think, again, under motivation, part of our today's conversation.
Yes. Yeah, you have shown that you have put thought into this. You have thought about the person receiving your CV, and you want to answer their questions before they get to question it themselves.
Yes, thank you so much, Charlotta, for your question and for watching. Someone asked, Nagi asks to plug City of Espoo. We gladly do this because we promote all kinds of ways that people can excel in their career. So please visit www.espoo.fi. That is really, really good. And I think we're almost running out of time. I'm going to ask Pipsa, like one last question. Let's make it count. So what's like your ultimate CV advice? If you would have like one thing to say, what would we take from this session?
CV is short for curriculum vitae, and literally it doesn't mean resume. Literally, curriculum vitae means the path of life. So think about it from that point of view. It's not, your path of life is not just the titles of your work. It's your personality, who you are as a human being, your motivations, what drives you. So think about your CV as more holistic thing of yourself, because that is also who they get when you join their team. You as a whole human being and person. So I think that is my, this is the attitude shift that I want to advocate towards, when people are writing their CVs and sending them. It's your path of life, your whole being, not just your work. You're not a work robot, you're a human being.
Yes, that's a very good advice, and I think that exactly, like the more wholesome picture you create in your CV, the less questions the interviewer gonna get, at least bad questions the interviewer gonna get. Like if it's obvious that you were traveling or whatever it is you were doing with your life,
and also
starts to make sense.
Exactly, they understand you as a person much better. And also, if you include this fun fact or spare time section at the very bottom of your CV, I have oftentimes have this that I play Civilization 6, and that is the most commented thing, apart from my relevant work experience, is that Civilization I also play. So it gives it connects you with the person who is it raises like a feeling or an emotion in them that they can relate to you, so they can easier also see you working together with them. Now I have a Stardew Valley there, PlayStation game. Oh, I love it.
Awesome. Yes, thank you so much. Also, our viewers are thanking you, Pipsa. This was a really nice breakfast, like virtual breakfast. Unfortunately, I would love to have a coffee with you properly, but that's coming. I think soon
Yes.
we will be able to have more live events. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. This was amazing session, and thank you for so many good questions. I couldn't myself think of better questions. Like I was preparing my own questions, but I think our
These were
audience has
amazing.
beaten me in that. Yes, and please follow us. So theshortcut.org and our social media. I guess if you're watching us, you're either on our Facebook or on our YouTube. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Pipsa's LinkedIn. Also, she gives great advice. This is how I found her for today's session. And yes, good luck, Pipsa, with your future, and we're looking forward to see you. And our next time we have Lari Numinen from CEO, and we are looking forward to see you on that breakfast.
He's great. He's great.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much. And yeah, Jessie, who is my other colleague, is commenting that she is not that you are not the only one playing Civilization and Stardew Valley.
Exactly. This is what I mean.
There, it worked. Yes.
Exactly. This is what I mean. We're with Jesse, we're already like this.
Yes, and some people are up for coffee with Pipsa. Okay, everyone, have a very good day. I hope this is energizing start to me, at least. During COVID, I love morning events because you have this energy of live interaction in the morning already. And looking forward to see you in our future sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.